We are back. Thank you for the opportunity to take a recess. I know it's been a long night. So everyone is back. What I'd like to do is ask the committee to provide the board with a recommendation on the firm that the committee thinks that might serve us best.
So thank you for that, Mr. President. The subcommittee had an opportunity to kind of talk through things, and I want to be very transparent because I heard your comments earlier before we went and spoke, and they were important to us. They were important for me to mention to the rest of the group. So we had a discussion about who we were most comfortable with, who we felt really kind of brought a real value add, whose price point we felt most comfortable with. In our conversations, we kind of narrowed it down to two law firms, Pratt, Brown and James, and the Taft firm. And again, I think the large portion of it is we were comfortable with everybody. We thought everybody brought an incredible wealth and depth of knowledge in any key area we had of concern or highlighted. But for us, I think it was just about, and posing the question to the board as well, who is it out of the three that we met with, and certainly out of the two that we're recommending, did you feel most comfortable with? That you feel like can really hear us in a way that we need to be heard, interpret our information, and help actually get the work shepherded and done. Is that fair?
So yes, thank you.
Yeah, I think we all agree that every one of these lawyers is competent, knows the area. It's not going to be a learning curve for anybody we spoke to. They're all going to provide very competent advice and do a good job. We thought that, in terms of fees and costs, that it's all going to come out about the same, regardless of which choice. But that the two things that we really, are looking to you for, in part, is with who do we have the best rapport and comfortable working with, and the value added kind of piece. It's one thing to be a really good lawyer and provide competent legal advice, but where does that lie in being able to provide more? So,
So the committee's recommending either Taft or Pratt, Brown, James, as I understand it. Okay. So, and I think a primary and important question is one of fit, and how do we think we'll get along with the attorneys? And do we want to talk about, of those two, maybe which one we might prefer? Colleagues? Ms. Gibbs?
Can you speak up? My ears are.
Oh, your ears are all clogged because you're sick. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And you're not moving.
Yeah.
Which one do you like better of the
Wait,
two
okay.
recommendations?
Sorry, somebody get her a horn.
Yeah, I can't hear.
An ear trumpet, please.
There you go.
I think I would, if I
Yes, ma'am.
can, I don't think we'd go wrong with any of these folks. And I also, those that did put in budget or other info, they were really, you saw the letter, the letter was bare bones. We didn't scope out the work, because candidly, I think we need to talk with them, and then they would come up with that plan. But you do get a sense of what everybody can do, so. But we also don't think that anybody has a learning curve at all. They're all, they come to the table as experts, and they're gonna hit the ground running. So we're not gonna pay for anybody to learn anything, which is always something, that's what usually drives a bill up quickly.
Yep, exactly. I'll just say, based on that recommendation, I was really impressed with the Taft firm, and I felt really at home with both of them. Like I had known them for years, even though I've never met them before. So I think that would be a great working relationship. Other thoughts? Ms. Gibbs?
Everything's draining. I don't. Everything is just draining.
Sorry, you don't feel good.
So I'll just restate what I said before, that the best firm, we won't be doing much in court. Because they'll give us advice, they'll guide us, they'll keep us from making missteps. I think you have two excellent firms, and so I'm still thinking through them because both of them are very, very good. I mean, both of them were
Yeah.
very good.
In other words, part of the key with keeping us on report is that we take the advice that's given.
Exactly. and we make, and
But
we
that's
make,
what rapport.
and that's the
Right,
report,
yeah,
but, and we make jokes about that, but I'm very confident in this board that we will listen, and most importantly, we have a search firm to lead us, and that the attorney, even though they have experience, they're not leading the search. They are there to make sure our communication, our deliberations are transparent, they are compliant with the laws, and that we are doing what we're supposed to do in terms of navigating. I see them probably servicing the search form maybe a little more to make sure, hey, these are our next steps in making sure they're doing well. So just give me a second for it. I'm running on
Sure,
6 cylinders.
all right.
I saw different positives on both. I mean, for me, for Taft, I mean, I really, the public sector piece, open meeting, sunshine law, being there, working through it, personally experiencing it from both sides. And obviously their price point of looking at it as, at a broader, long-term plan versus, piecing it out. I appreciated, but I also appreciated, what Attorney James stated with the value add piece. He had also already researched the firm, so he kind of came a bit prepared, with looking at what we've already done to date, and which is what you like to see. It's kind of like you're preparing for an interview. He came in, he gave us information probably that we didn't already have of our existing research firm. He's done superintendent searches for different organizations, so I really like that he brought that to the point. I don't know either one of them super personally. I think they're both personable for me, so I'm probably just looking towards my colleagues to see and hear if they heard something different.
Mr. Peretti, any thoughts?
Well, I mean, I like I said, I don't think we can go wrong with really anyone. That everyone presented, and had some good local knowledge, had some good experience. I think at this point right now, if we have a subcommittee that's made some recommendations, we should start to narrow it down and maybe get everyone's sort of feel on it, and that's where I would stand right now. I'm very comfortable with everyone, so.
Okay, so, are you ready to say which one you prefer, the two recommended by the committee? Okay.
They're very good. I thought Taft was personable and stressed accessibility and flexibility, and their value added on their team was one that both of them brought though, but being a public, a city attorney, I thought was a unique add that she was able to bring. Committee.
Thoughts?
Larry was
I-
assistant.
Larry's been everything. He
City
is
attorney also.
very. I
But we'd
mean,
be very fortunate to have either one.
Exactly.
Very.
So,
very.
Yeah.
So we have to.
For
choose
me,
that.
with the exception of Nicole, I knew all of them. I know all of them and I know their work, and every one of them has got, the knowledge, the expertise to be able to do this. It's not a learning curve, because nothing here is all that difficult in terms of legal complexity. It really isn't. I, at least personally, like the value added that Larry brings. To me, that's important, and that can be helpful in a lot of ways with, relationships, whether it's with the city or with the auditor or with, So, we can't go wrong of any of the three.
Congratulations.
can't go wrong.
So
Well,
we could be here all evening.
No, I would agree with you, Larry.
I like TAF.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like the idea of not
No,
keeping us out of trouble, but keeping us on the right side. You know, that's the approach that I was looking for. So I think we should just keep that in mind. You know, it's not about keeping out of trouble, it's getting good advice and listening to it on what we do.
That's-
So,
Right, and I think that's one of the things I liked about the Taft firm, is they specifically talked about that. And I couldn't agree more with what you just said about that, so
Kind of hearing a little bit of a thumb on the scale for Taft.
I think so.
I'm comfortable with
But
Taft as well.
you know, if for some reason they couldn't do it, I think, you know, it seems like we have Larry's backup and
You like that?
So,
See, I was Larry.
yeah,
I would go either way. I don't mean to be ambivalent.
yeah, I mean,
So I've heard
It's like
two,
a-
I've heard two CBJ and I've heard
By like a hair.
3 Taft.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so
let's
say,
look at- let's
say
look at
one
the money. Let's look at
CBJ.
Yeah, the money's the one that's.
well, let's look at,
And I,
There's not a.
But I think they're both negotiable, I
I
think
do,
is
well,
what the thing.
any negotiable would be, I do think that, I mean, Taft fixes it, so it's fixed in there, which is good.
Yeah, that I did like about them.
And we haven't really defined the scope of work.
right, we haven't started the engagement discussion really.
If I can, I like the fact that Taft came to the table prior to this evening in giving us a presentation in terms of cost value. That was very flexible, that was intent. It seemed like out of all of the 7 proposals that we looked at, they seemed the most intent on doing business with us and working with us. Not just in terms of their skill set, but with a flexible price point as well.
Money's important.
okay.
All right, so do we have consensus that Taft is the first choice and CBJ is our backup?
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
good.
I think so.
do we need to vote on that?
I would think you would want a resolution that you, I'm trying to think how to phrase it, but that you
Can
would.
I make a
yeah,
suggestion before we make this, but I would suggest that the resolution, maybe delegate back to the
Mhm.
subcommittee that we would go out to the Taft firm, would ask them to provide us with an engagement letter that reflects their proposal.
Mhm.
We could take a look at that and then we would, that the board would, subject to that, we would then approve, we would be able to approve that.
Is that a motion?
Well, I just wanted to, if that sounds okay, I
I
would
don't
use that
object.
as a motion. So I would move that the subcommittee, we ask the board to return this to the subcommittee. We'll
Mhm.
work out contacting Taft, get an engagement letter that reflects their proposal, and move ahead to work with, we'll have to work with Larry, I think, to get this all put in place then. So we'll get that done,
Yeah.
Moved
ASAP.
and seconded. Okay, discussion. Okay,
I will pull your language off the tape and
Okay.
develop that and circulate it so that I make sure that that motion is correct before it's committed to the record.
Okay.
very good. We have a motion, we have a second, we have no further discussion. Mr. Treasurer?
President Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Vice President Cole,
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs,
Yes,
Ms. Hudson,
Yes.
Mr. Peretti,
Yes.
Ms. Reyes,
Yes.
and that motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer.
If I can,
Yes, that's-
when we meet again, are we meeting next Tuesday?
22nd.
So I would suggest that we do this in a way that they're with us on Tuesday,
That would be ideal.
and we can go from there.
Okay.
Yeah. And at some point, we're gonna wanna notify the
Yes.
others.
22nd.
subcommittee can do that.
Oh, no, that's not right.
Yeah,
The subcommittee will work on.
Yeah.
And I think we'll start first with the ones that were not included tonight.
Okay, So subcommittee will
We'll
follow
send
up.
it,
Because that'll be easy.
we'll send,
Usually you tell the one who got it
So
first,
let's have a
and then you
discussion.
go backwards.
So
Well, if they're watching
Alright,
Facebook.
Because they're gonna say, you know what,
One at a
after
time.
last night, no,
yeah.
Mr. Peretti,
looking ahead, Shauna, Ramona, and I worked on the RFP. I know we're still waiting to make sure we get that to wherever our finalized legal counsel is, like Pat said, we have some conversations.
Oh,
How should we move forward with that? We did get one little bit of feedback from Bill. How should we discuss that?
and I want to provide a little bit of feedback as
Okay.
well.
So let's keep it out there then
could
as
not
we go through the final
get to
process.
the last few days.
colleagues,
Okay,
do
so,
we, Ms. Gibbs?
I'm sorry, so to that point, you want us to recirculate,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Brown made a comment. Would y'all like us to recirculate the draft of the RFP that we have now and give you more time and maybe a couple of
Has it
days?
changed from the one I saw?
It's the one that Bill's final remarks that he sent, I think was Monday. He made one more suggestion.
Okay.
Why don't we just recirculate that again?
And I'll respond to
Here's
that.
a paper copy.
And it was
Respond to
it was
one
a
people.
suggestion, not a mandate.
And I
Read
didn't
it.
have a whole lot.
Oh,
Is this it?
that's the most recent draft. Let's have
Oh,
one at
okay.
a time. You
We're
got
not
an
going through
extra.
this stuff.
I need that back.
Oops, sorry. That's, thank you.
Okay.
Pardon me.
All right, Ms. Hudson.
What I'd like to ask is as we're doing that, I think, oh, here, I have an extra. Does somebody not know?
Everybody have it now.
Yes,
Look at
there were
me.
two here. I only need one.
Thank you.
I would just suggest that we also provide that, once we have the engagement letter in place, we provide this to them so they can come Tuesday
Prepared.
prepared to provide comments.
We added that as a part of our process, that we go through.
Awesome.
Well, we'll just, so we won't.
Is it
order
next
that.
Tuesday then?
Well, yeah, it's next Tuesday, and not only,
Ms. Gibbs?
yes, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Not only that, we just have it, but they need to review it and we need to do some, work and answer some of those questions with our search firm about remaining obligations. So we have that as a part of our process.
Okay, well then perhaps, well, they'll at least have the, thank you, they'll, at least they can have this and then at the meeting, you could set up a time for you guys to talk with them.
Do you think it's
Yes, sir.
appropriate then, to start circulating with it now and have some of the questions copying all of us and to them? That board members may have?
Let's,
Committee
let's,
members?
no,
Yes.
I would prefer that we take things one step at a time. Just take it one step at a time, stay the course, make sure we have them officially on board.
Yeah.
And once we have them officially on board, we can provide that communication.
So
More
what do you want to
importantly.
see
Time
then?
is money.
Yeah,
So
I
what
mean,
would you
time
like to
is
see
money.
done then circulate amongst the board
I
again?
mean, we,
If we get any last minute comments,
right,
That's
we as a
fine.
board need to
what's the timeline for that then?
come on that.
So if we wanna
Well,
circulate one more time, then.
If we want to adhere to the timeline that we all set,
Mhm.
we are hoping to have the RFP out before the holiday at the end of this month.
Mhm.
Right, so
You'll
together
note-
next week.
You'll
right?
note the
Next
paper
week, yeah.
copy that I gave you, I put a little X right here, that is the comment related to Dr. Reimer. So that's the part he thought was
So by
not
next Tuesday.
necessary, I just
So-
marked it for reference. Yes, ma'am.
As a part of the subcommittee, can we refer this for conversation on the 22nd and add it as an item? So we can talk about it and we'll send you a date for y'all to get this back to us so we can discuss amongst ourselves what we think about the changes. And then on the 22nd, add it to the agenda to discuss.
And you think we'll still be able to get it out then before the end of May?
I think so. It's pretty
Come on.
Pretty much
straightforward.
Yeah.
Yep, yes, ma'am.
I would just ask for our meeting Tuesday if we could also talk about then the proposed calendar that Bill put together.
Yes, because, yes.
Because I'd like to get, at least, there are some dates I know that aren't penciled, but I'd like to get as many dates on the calendar as possible.
Yeah.
This is the draft.
Is this an updated draft?
This is the last draft that Dr. Reimer sent to us. You know, there was a comment back from a board member.
So, yes, so can I speak to that?
Ms. Gibbs?
Yeah, let me speak to that. An hour is late, so I really wanna give it its full due
Yes,
diligence
that's why.
conversation
Yes.
on Tuesday,
Yes.
so I'm gonna ask that we maybe not go into this. I was not in agreement. We didn't have full consensus about the timeline, because we have everybody on board except number 3. We need the search firm on board. And
Correct.
then when the search firm gets on board, we need to move down some conversation. But if you would indulge me with the early release tonight, that we look at this, study it, have some comments, and that we come back on Tuesday ready to discuss timeline, RFP, everything, and then
And it's gonna continue to be a dynamic
It's a
and
dynamic.
changing
So,
document.
It's
just to be
dynamic.
clear then, so then we can recirculate then that final email from Bill for board member comments, and then discuss those comments at the board table on Tuesday and finalize the RFP.
that's our goal.
President,
Yes, ma'am.
President Baker, yeah, we should answer Dominic's question.
Yes, I do believe so, but we all agreed on these benchmarks and we want to meet them,
Mhm.
if possible. Yes.
What I want to suggest is, in addition to the RFP, that perhaps we get the file information about HYA. We can provide that to them, assuming we get the letter signed, so that on Tuesday they'll have at least a little overview. I would ask then maybe that we, the RFP committee could talk to them. You could talk to them,
I could talk.
do some follow-up, but I think then Tuesday, at least so they've got the HYA contract. And anything else, that they could get that from Larry. We'd ask Janika or Rita to call Larry and get that appropriate info.
I'll take the lead on, once you give me the go-ahead after the engagement letter, when you give me the go-ahead of saying,
Yeah?
now we can engage,
Yes.
then I'll take the lead on calling them and filling them on the RFP in the background and get Larry to send the HYA piece on
Okay.
behalf of the architect.
Well, what are we
I
gonna
did
do
that.
about board member comments, so before we take a lead on anything, so we're gonna circulate this out again,
No,
we have some
no, what we're sending them is the HYA contract.
okay.
So we have comments ready, and we'll send you a date out, and I know we've all been busy, for us to get our comments about the RFP to be ready for the
Say like-
22nd.
By, I would say Friday the latest.
I need it by Thursday, so we can work on it, and we need it by Thursday.
Even better.
Okay.
Thursday, so
So
we
if you
can
have
work
any
on it on
comments,
Friday.
any comments on the RFP draft, please provide them to.
So 2 days.
Thursday this week.
Will you send them to me? Will you send them to me?
Why don't you send them
Thank you.
to all of us and copy us all?
Sure.
On all correspondence.
8,000 emails, but okay,
No,
send it to everybody.
Let's do it
Okay.
that way.
Yes, Ms. Gibbs and then Mr. Brown.
You want everybody to get them?
I think we should just all be talking at the same time with each other. So if someone has a comment, Eric wants to respond to it, he should respond to all of us at the same time.
Yes.
Well, how do we do that and avoid online deliberations?
Deliberations.
Right.
So I think it's
So,
one
President
wheelhouse.
Baker,
I mean, it's just
please,
comments,
I know,
is what it is.
but please send them to me and we'll circulate them among the subcommittee. And then we
Okay.
will send them back out and
How about this
notate
then?
changes.
Send it to the three of us at the same time.
Yeah, let's let the committees do their work.
Do that.
Let's
You've been
start
doing
with-
very well
Send it to
so
the three of
far.
us. We'll send, so what we'll need to do then is take the email that Bill sent and either yourself or Bill can resend it again with instructions to get out any board comments by Thursday, close of business or sometime in the evening, and to copy the three of us in their responses so that we can have a conversation
How
about it.
about, and you will advise Dr. Reimer of
Yes.
that.
Mhm.
So board members all now know that, so
Yeah, I
I
was
don't think,
gonna say,
I
you
don't
have
think we need any.
our-
Well, no,
communication.
just double check things, we have it out there and it says, you know,
Not to belabor the point, but Ms. Gibbs?
Yes, because we agree on something and then we change it, like with the very next piece. So,
Yes.
Mr. Reimer is at home. Mr.
Dr. Tombaugh is here
Dr.
with us.
Tombaugh, you're in his stead.
That's right, that's right.
Yes.
So as I understand, you'll have your comments pulled together Thursday, you'll be sending those, send it to me, do you wish to do that?
No, I want people to send them to,
Do you?
The subcommittee.
Okay,
Send them to us.
Okay, and then,
you can copy, we'll copy him.
yeah, no, I just want to make sure that we put it in a format so that's ready for the attorney's review as well as your meeting
Yes.
Tuesday. That's my concern timing wise.
Send them to us, and we
Okay.
can do that, and we'll copy it.
Okay,
And then Friday, we need to talk. When Mary Jo gives us the go-ahead that we can talk to, it's okay to start with TAF, then they get the HYA contract, and I'll call Janika and talk about RFP and fill them in on the 22nd. Then we are prepared to talk about RFP, and the attorneys will be with us to talk a bit about what they're gonna do. Right?
And you will, Ms. Gibbs, make sure that the firm has a copy of the HYA
Yes,
contract
I'll
after
do that.
that's been deemed appropriate.
So I'll call you.
okay, so your comments from the subcommittee will come to me then, and then we'll reformat the RFP and have that for you. When do you want that?
Tuesday night's meeting.
Tuesday night meeting.
Tuesday meeting, okay.
So comments by Thursday, everybody, so we have time to talk on the
Or
phone.
probably
But
Tuesday
you wanna
morning.
get, we
So
wanna
we can
get
see
it,
it
assuming we
before-
got council in place, which we should, that should be done. Good, you'd wanna get that to them
In
with Larry's
advance.
file, like, on Monday.
In
Yeah.
advance.
I mean, as soon as you give me the go ahead, I mean, that's a matter of saying, but let's be careful not to, I mean.
I'll get the info and I'll have to share with my colleagues.
Absolutely.
We'll get it
We'll
done.
knock it down.
Okay.
Very good, Mr.
Thank
Brown.
Two things. One is a request. Some of the documents that we're working from change over time, including the calendar. And, you know, there's different versions. If we could please date,
Right, I agree.
preferably date and time.
Times, yeah.
Because there are gonna be times where we might have more than one version in the same day
And mark revisions.
and mark
You wanna do
revisions.
track changes?
Track changes.
Absolutely, that, it makes things so much easier. You know, and, when I'm looking at this, is this the same as the one I had before? And I don't wanna have to go through and
That's
compare.
the only way,
And that's kind of what happens when you have
Yeah.
100 people
Right.
Yeah,
Lying
absolutely, we, you know,
versus
on
one.
every.
Got it.
And first,
Item
we
number,
wanna track them.
Item number two,
Mhm.
I happen to, and you've heard this from me before, and I think I know the answer, but I just want to toss it out. I think Larry James made a very good point with respect to the search firm, that he did his homework and brought, and I think that's something that we should at least not close the door to, and I think consider. So I'm not asking for a response, I'm not asking for a decision, I'm just, you know, I really think that there's, you know,
Right.
especially with his perspective, I think that there's something worth looking at.
Yep, and I don't think we need to, we already decided as a group that they would be eligible to reply to the RFP, so I don't think we need to discuss that further this evening unless someone disagrees. Ms. Gibbs?
I like to offer a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
I move that we adjourn.
is there a second?
I would second that.
All right, Mr. Treasurer.
You can talk all night.
Wow. Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Vice President Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
That motion carried. It is 9:26 according to my.
It is. And we stand adjourned. I thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tombaugh. Thank you, Professor Froelich, for being here.
I got a card. How about you? I know.